What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SP and Bushy Show, two lifelong friends who made a sports podcast together. I'm SP. What's up, Bushy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just trying to, still trying to composite what happened last week, as far as with like college football and with the NFL as well. I mean, it's just like, man, it was just upset city last week.
It really was, man, and I mean, it was a crazy week of football. It even continued last night with the Ravens and Dolphins game, and I mean, we don't have anything planned for this show, so I mean, this show could be like Robert Hunt last night in that game. It could be running downhill. It could get flipped upside down. Who knows what's going to happen tonight on the show?
It was great too because he stole the ball from the offensive weapon. Clearly, he was the one that was intended for that play. Really, it wasn't intended for the running back and the wide receiver. No, it was intended for the offensive guard. And obviously, yes, it's an illegal play, but we all wanted to do that.
Absolutely, as a guy who played offensive line, like, was that like the dream?
Oh, that's the dream. That's the dream of just snagging a pass, just snagging a screen pass, and boom, you get the ball. You hit it. Unfortunately, that never happened for me because when I played, we hardly ran screen passes, so never got a chance to do that.
Well, I mean, once again, it was illegal. Unfortunately, it was the right call, but I think it was like the call that America just wanted that touchdown to stand. He fought so hard to get to that goal line. I think we all wanted that touchdown to stand.
We did. We all wanted that touchdown to stand, and unfortunately, yes, it was a highly illegal play. But really, I mean, they should have gotten points for creativity. Let's put it that way.
Well, you know what, and that brings me to my point. Is the only point I really wanted to make on this show tonight is that the NFL needs to change the rules. Clearly,
just make everybody eligible.
Everybody should be eligible. All 11 players on the field should be eligible at all times. Think of the excitement in the NFL and the creative play calling and everything that could happen if all 11 players were eligible at all times.
I mean, that would be an interesting thing. But would you love a Garrett Bowles, back offensive tackle screen, and him just kind of rumbling down the field?
Hell yeah, I'd love it. think about how much more you'd enjoy that red zone touchdown montage if there were like 3 fat guy touchdowns in it every week.
I mean, I've always been in favor whenever the offensive lineman does become eligible or something like that. Like, they need to like fake the screen and have him throw it to the guy. I mean, it's just that instead of him being an extra blocker, how about him actually being a receiver and going out and catching the football? Yeah. I love a fat guy touchdown. We all love fat guy touchdowns. We all love it when a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman scores a touchdown. We find it just the most exhilarating performance ever.
That's what I'm saying. I think all 11 players just need to be eligible. Once again, the referees made the right call last night, unfortunately. But I want all 11 players to be eligible at all times. Think of like the creative, like, even formations that you'd see. You'd see like a lot of like swinging gates and just a lot of like crazy crap and an offensive lineman spread out wide to maybe block for the guy on the screen pass to start the play. Like, think about it.
I mean, yeah, it would be crazy. Yeah, just have a nice little, maybe a throwback screen or something like that to the offensive guard or the center. Or, one of those plays, like we saw earlier in the season with the Chiefs, maybe the Patrick Mahomes underhand toss to the center after he hikes the ball. Just the quick hike back to the offensive lineman. Really, I mean, if you want, I know they're restarting the XFL again after, what happened with 2020 and all that. That's what the XFL should do. They should be like, you know what? We're going to make everybody eligible. We're going to make everybody eligible. Like, that should be the unique rule change that would make it something different and probably make people like, hey, let's watch it. It's at least a gimmick.
Absolutely. I would love to see that. I remember when I was a kid, like, I was playing flag footballs before we were even allowed to play tackle football. And, I mean, the rules obviously were different for us. We were playing flag football. So my favorite play was I would be the center. I'd hike it to the quarterback. He would just go over the top and hand it off to me, and I would just charge forward. It'd be a center handoff. I love it. It was great. It worked every time.
Unfortunately for me, my football experience was always I was in pads and we played tackle football, and they always had a weight limit as far as with me, and then me being a bigger guy, I always exceeded that weight limit. So that means I couldn't be the wide receiver or the running back or something like that. The most I could be was a tight end. That was I know that's the most I could be was a tight end. And I couldn't even catch the ball too. I mean, with all the rule changes, really, I mean, really, little league really hamstrung the offensive lineman catching abilities. Really, it
Right.
starts in little league.
It does. And that's why I'm saying that all 11 players on the football field need to be eligible. Let's get some excitement. Let's do this thing.
The Rock, if you somehow are watching this, we may have to tweet this to The Rock. We're giving you ideas, to try to make the XFL just a little bit better, maybe to improve it a little bit. Yeah, remember the first iteration, they didn't have like the fair catch or the tight end. That should be the new innovation. Yep, all 11 players are eligible.
Absolutely. I want to see it. We'll tweet it at The Rock after this. I mean, think of all the offensive linemen would probably want to go to the XFL at that point because then you're eligible. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, you're eligible. You can catch the ball. Yeah, you can have extinct pass plays. You can use that to kind of the advantage or something like that as well. I mean, it's just, and it would make offensive alignment just a little more sexier position than what it is now. And it's just a shame.
Absolutely.
That's what I want. Just give me that. Yeah. I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
That's my proposed rule change for the week. All 11 players eligible. Think of the excitement.
Yeah, do that, and then just have everybody taunt too. Okay, just have everybody taunt. Everybody do Jean-Claude Van Damme kicks. As far as with that, I mean, it's just it's just have the refs get hit. Or you can be. You know what? Once in a while, maybe you can run into a ref or something like that.
Honestly, you should be able to beat the crap out of the ref, especially if he hip checks you.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I'm all for like an eye for an eye type of thing. Yeah.
Right. If he hip checks you, you should be able to go like full Joker on him and just fucking throw a hard shoulder block into his back.
I agree with you 100% on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those just crazy things as far as with that. And yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, just rules for improvement or something like that.
Absolutely. I think the taunting thing this year has really been unpopular. And it's been so unevenly enforced by the referees, and we've seen it. The referees have been atrocious this year. Tony Correnti on Monday Night Football basically handing the game to the Steelers for the Jean-Claude Van Damme kick and for him looking at the Steelers sideline. He can't look at the Steelers sideline now.
Man, he really hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
They really hurt his feelings with that Jean-Claude Van Damme kick. With that Jean-Claude Van Damme kick. I mean, really, that kick was impressive, though. Like, I came out of that, I'm like, man, like, that was a very impressive kick. Like, he has full pads and everything. I mean, that was a very impressive kick. I mean, that was just the most impressive thing out of that. Tony Correnti should have given 15-yard penalties for the Steelers for allowing that to happen.
Right, absolutely. Honestly, I mean, if you sack the quarterback, you should be able to, like, drag your ass across his helmet or whatever you want to do to taunt him.
Yeah, maybe have like with the video game themes, yeah.
Yeah. Like the old
go up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, go up and down, up and down. Something to do with a little T, and we bag it.
Yeah.
That's what
the wrestling video games all have that taunt button. You should be able to go like full Stone Cold on him, or
yeah, you can flip the double bird, go Eli Manning on them.
Yeah. Sack the quarterback and have the guy throw you a beer.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yes. That's what I would love. I would love for a Von Miller sack and then somebody handed him Coors Lights and doing Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that would be amazing. Yes, absolutely. That would be amazing. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you the DX chop to him after he's down there?
The DX chop. Yeah, I mean that would just be good. Just kind of go like this, to maybe the Patrick Mahomes kind of show up the guns a little bit, and be like, ooh, look at that, I'm strong. Just be like, I'm strong, Patrick Mahomes. Look at them muscles.
Absolutely. I mean, he's already down there. You should be able to do whatever you want to him. The taunting thing, honestly, they need to increase taunting, if anything.
That's the thing. It's people have just gone back to like they really should have just kept it as it is. Really, the fact that they just got away with it means there's going to be like this full reaction now where like people are going to be like, we don't want this, it's like then they're going to have all these full blown taunts now. Like, it's just really, NFL made this a problem. Really, it shouldn't have been that way.
It did. But it's like as soon as the defense gets an interception, they all can run and do like a group taunt to the camera. So what's wrong with an individual taunting?
Yeah, I mean, just try to keep it at least a little bit. But I would love a Stone Cold Steve Austin, drinking beers or something like that.
Right.
Come on, that'd be amazing. Have the equipment guy just kind of hand. Yeah, that's what that XFL. Look at that, just right now. We're just helping you guys right now. The Rock.
Well, The Rock, obviously, I think The Rock would be certainly in favor of it. The Rock, one of the greatest taunters of all time. So, I mean, you got to look at it like this no fun league thing is really starting to kind of take over, and it's starting to become worse. Like, once again, if you don't want him to taunt you, don't let him sack the quarterback. Don't let him get in the end zone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah. Oh, that would have been cool too. Somebody does The Rock, remember The Rock doing this, as far as with that, that'd be a great taunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be a great taunt. That's what I would love. I mean, we're just finding ways to try to improve the game a little bit and just giving us some good ideas.
Honestly, you should get an extra 15 yards against the other team if you're able to do a taunt that makes the referee laugh or something.
I like that. Yeah. Humor the official. Yeah.
Right. Or instead of getting fined, like you get an extra $50,000 if you do a taunt that becomes a gift by next week.
Or a meme or something like that. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Oh, a worldwide spread GIF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that should be the case. Yeah, just make it like that. Obviously, yeah, we're really just crapping on the NFL, really. And I mean, it's just, oh man, that would have been a perfect Manning cast, man. It's just like, why does this seem to happen when Peyton and Eli aren't on the Manning cast? Like it really is just kind of like a shame. Like it's just, we've had a couple of instances where, man, if the Mannings were on there, man, that would have been great.
That
just
have
them just completely crap on it. Be like, what is this guy doing?
Well, and like the league and everyone always feels like they always have to stand up for the officials. If the official screws it up, man, like honestly, admit it. The officials should be held to the same standards that the players are. Like if they do something wrong, like hip checking a player, they should be fined. They should be suspended. Like honestly, like I said, it's ridiculous that the players and the coaches are under such scrutiny of even talking badly about the officials, but the officials get to get away with murder or hip checks or whatever the hell they want.
Well, they do get fined, but it's in secret, I mean, it's just always one of those, like, they get fined, but it's like a secret thing or something like that. Like
they have they have to get a 6-pack of beer for the head official.
They got to buy Roger Goodell's next plane ticket or something like that. Yeah, that's exactly. Usually the form of punishment as far as with that. But we really haven't heard anything about Corrente getting punished for the hip check.
Right.
At all. So that just makes it even worse.
Right. He's not going to. Like the league stands by these officials like I said, like they're gods, and it's not the case. Like I said, they just need to be held to a higher standard.
Or just the case too, same as the players. I'm like, okay, why are you hip checking this guy? Why'd you call this a taunting penalty or something like that?
Right. It's ridiculous.
It is. I mean, it's just it is just bad. I just feel like officiating has just gone down for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's just it really is. It really is just like a shame. Like officiating has gone way down as far as even us like 10 years ago, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. It has. It's like, it feels like once they had that replacement ref thing and the replacement refs were struggling, now they do everything they can to like bow down to these officials when really, like I said, they aren't that much better than the replacement ones.
Man, Tony Corrente's crew last week made the replacement refs look like gods, really. I mean, it's just, it really was the case. Yeah, just everybody's like, bring back the refs, bring back the replacement refs, when they couldn't even tell which one was a touchdown or an interception.
Yeah.
It's the same people, Oh, man, God. Oh, I don't miss those.
I don't miss it either, but it feels like we're inching closer to it with Corrente's crew on Monday night.
Yes, we are inching closer and closer to having more. Yep. All that fun stuff. I mean, it's just.
And the replacement refs would have allowed that touchdown, that fat guy touchdown last night.
Yeah, they would allow the fact that, oh, you know what the worst part is too, is like clearly the guy was over, but the ref called him down at the 1. That's the most insulting thing too. Like it would have been, I think he was just in shock of what just happened. He was like, "Did that just really happen?" I think he was just more in shock.
I mean, his call at the end of the day wouldn't have mattered. But once again, yeah, he should have at least made the right call and seen that he crossed the ball across. Once again, that one gives you no confidence in the officials in general, which I already don't have any.
But it's just cool too. Like he actually stretched out everything. Like the big guy actually
Absolutely.
stretched out. He's in midair. He's stretching it out.
He did
Obviously,
like
the
the
ball
John
crosses
Elway
the plate.
helicopter and stretched the ball out.
He did. Yes, he stretched it out. Clearly, it was a touchdown. It was the greatest. It was the greatest non-touchdown in probably like NFL history or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm overreacting to that, baby. I'm high.
Yeah, I
hot
don't know.
take.
It's not the first time I've heard that, and I think it won't be the last. I think it is probably one of the greatest non-touchdowns in NFL history.
Hot take. Yeah, hot take city right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just insane to just kind of think about it, man. And it's just, yeah. And the funny part is too, is like we haven't even talked about like football and all that, like actual
No.
football. Like it's literally just been like the refs.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some actual football. I mean, like you said, last week was insane. You got the Jaguars beating the Bills. You have pretty much upsets all across the board. Like
And
crazy
the Bron-
week of football.
are we back on the Broncos, Super Bowl hype train? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the Broncos somehow just delivered this amazing performance against the Cowboys and are in this weird world where they're somehow only a half game back in the division.
I know it's just one of those things. It's like they win like an impressive game, and everybody's kind of like thinking, like, "Oh man, they're still only a half game back from the
Right.
game," and you're like, "You're right." Like it's just wow, the season isn't like doom and gloom like it was.
It felt like it was after the Raiders loss, and then all of a sudden you get back in the win column against Washington. Probably shouldn't have. And then you have this amazing effort against the Cowboys. And like all of it kind of overshadows the fact that this team is still the same bad team it was 3 weeks ago. But I mean, it is just a crazy team that doesn't know what the heck it is.
Yeah, it's a crazy. You're right. It's a crazy team that just doesn't know what the heck it is. I think we'll find out more what this team is really going to be like this Sunday against Philadelphia. Is this team for real, or was the last 2 weeks kind of a mirage? That type of thing.
Well, I don't know that the Eagles are the best team to judge that against.
I don't think so either.
If the Broncos win this game, they get the NFC East sweep.
NFC East champs, baby. We should just get the T-shirts now if they win it. Just get the T-shirts now.
I don't know that, like I said, I don't know that the NFC East, like I said, is the barometer for this.
It is true, yeah. I mean, it's just we'll have to wait and see as far as with that. But I mean, it's just, I mean, it's the first time in a while that we're in mid-November, and it's just like it's the first time in a while that we actually kind of have a certain like case of like wow, like sort of hopeness, like that's the thing, like yeah.
It's like I said, it's the weirdest situation because I mean I don't have faith in the coaching staff still, but like yeah. Fangio, even in the win against the Cowboys, still didn't run the 2-minute drill before the half well at all.
And got people injured because it was just one of those. I'm like, oh, I guess he's one of these guys that plays so conservative that in case if something happens, he goes, well, I guess we got to go for it now. I guess we got to go get some points now.
Like I don't get, like, once again, like he's letting the clock run for like almost a full 40 seconds after they got the first down. Like you could have taken the first down. They could have taken a timeout and at least been like in good shape, or at least had a better chance of getting down there for a McManus field goal. Obviously, it didn't end up making much of a difference, but I mean, like, come on.
Yeah, the 2-minute drill is bad, and then obviously Fangio had a terrible challenge. I don't really. I mean, they really, like it was a very, very suspect challenge. Let's put it that way. I'm like, you're challenging this? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, he does what he does. At the end of the day, the challenges are not the best, but, you take what you can.
Yeah, you take what you get. And, I mean, really, if it wasn't for Tennessee really beating the Rams, really, I mean, everybody was kind of talking about it too. Even I was watching Red Zone, those later games on Red Zone, and everybody was kind of talking about that Broncos Cowboys game. Like they were just like, "Did you see what the Broncos did today?" Like, oh my goodness, like that type of thing.
I
Like
still
they, everybody was kind of in awe by that victory.
absolutely, but I can't believe still that the Jaguars beat the Bills.
I am kind of shocked too, yeah, about that as well. I mean, really, I mean, the Bills have not played really well the past 4 weeks. You kind of they really have been kind of playing flat, but during this but
Against the Jaguars, though.
a lot as far as with that, and they kind of help that with that, and yeah, and it's just really, I mean, it's just nothing clicked for that game.
No. I mean, you have the Browns just beating the crap out of the Bengals, who, after beating the Ravens, have lost 2 in a row now. Like,
I didn't think the Bengals were for real. I mean, it's just that Ravens game was just one of those. It was just one of those weird games. Obviously, we saw it too last night with the Ravens. So who knows with this Ravens team what you're going to get. Really, I mean, we might as well call them the Forrest Gump box of chocolate games team. You never know what you're going to get from
well,
this
same with
team.
the Bengals. They lost to the Jets 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, they lost to the Bengals and they really got destroyed by Cleveland or something like that
They
too,
did.
as well. So we'll have to see what this Cleveland team really is about. But who knows? I just don't think the Bengals were very for real. They do have some good players, but I just don't feel like it's a team that's ready yet. And I
No,
think we
I
kind
don't
of
think so either.
discussed that. I think we kind of discussed that during our NFL preview. That it's just like we like the players on the team. It's just they need to just learn, how to be like kind of cohesive.
Right, absolutely. Now, obviously, you also had some more craziness with the Titans game that you mentioned. I mean, they beat the Rams without Derrick Henry, and I mean, they really made the Rams look terrible in that game. Like that game never felt that close either.
No, it really didn't. I was watching most of that game, and I was kind of shocked by the result. It was just one of those just wow, shocking results. Really, I mean, it's just how dominant the Titans were over the Rams, and the Rams are supposed to be like this amazing, amazing team, and they really got dominated. But I mean, this could be
And
Tennessee's mo, but we'll have to see come playoff time. I mean, this was a team that really looked good throughout the year last year as well. And then they had a couple of, clunkers later on in the season. And then obviously they lost in the playoffs too. So we'll have to wait and see with them.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just interested by the Rams because the Rams, Matthew Stafford, looked like Detroit Lions Matthew Stafford. Like the Rams bringing in Odell Beckham Jr., we saw that he actually was like the Browns were actually better getting rid of Odell Beckham Jr. Do you think he makes the Rams at all better?
I mean, this is going to have to be a wait and see approach. I mean, does he, kind of fit well with this team, or does he kind of just falter and just
Well, what
become
do you
like
think?
I think I mean, he has a track record now, so I think we're going to have some Odell headaches. I really do, and it's just going to be fascinating to see how this plays out. But I feel like we're just going to have the same old Odell, and just like how much of a cancer he is, really.
I think he makes that team worse. I mean, Odell Beckham, he had a couple of really good seasons to start his career with the Giants, but I mean, he really hasn't been relevant for a long time.
No, he really hasn't been relevant ever since he got injured in I believe it was 17. Yeah,
Or 19, yeah.
yeah, it's a team that he really hasn't been relevant. I mean, he's had some decent times and stuff, but yeah, it's just been really just a downfall as far as with him.
I mean, he had two 2,000-yard seasons in 18 and 19. But I mean, if you look at his numbers from 14 to 16, like I mean, he had 3,000-yard seasons with double-digit touchdowns, and since then his highest touchdown season was 6. So I mean, this is a guy who just really like has gone downhill, and so I
Yeah,
don't have a lot of faith in him.
yeah, you just don't have a lot of faith in him, and the attitude just doesn't warrant the athleticism doesn't, really, kind of even out with his attitudiness right now. So, I mean, really, I mean, it's just, he is just a fascinating character. And yeah, I mean, he just really hasn't been relevant for 3-4 years now.
He really hasn't, although who knows? Maybe this is the thing that turns him into Antonio Brown with the Patriots now, or with the Buccaneers now.
I don't think so. I think it's again, we talked about these late edition teams that we talked about last week with these late edition. I mean, it's not really a trade, but it's a late edition. And really, it just they don't work out really for the NFL. Really,
Yeah, they don't have the best history, that's for sure. So,
no, they just don't have a good season. They don't have good track records.
They don't. Let's see. Yeah. Let's move on and let's talk a little. Or was there more football you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's talk about the Joker then, and this fight with Markieff Morris. You want to talk about that?
Yes, let's do it. I love it. This mean old Joker. And and you gotta love too the kind of the off the court things where the Morris twins are threatening the Jokic brothers, and I'm just like, those are people you do not want to mess with. I have met them. I have met the other Jokic brothers, and they are some of the most scariest people on earth. Really, they are some of the scariest people ever.
What makes them so scary? Let's talk about this.
Well, I mean, it's just, really, they just have that look for some where I feel like if you're going to mess up, I actually help them sometimes working, and it just has that theory. Like, it's just, if I help them and I mess up, I feel like I'm going to die. That type of scenario. I'm just like, oh my God. It's just like their brothers just had that look and that intensity and toughness to them as well. And really, I mean, we always joked about like they look like a henchman for some action movie, and like really, I mean, they really should be the stars of the Double Team remake or something like that.
Yeah, or
they should be the henchmen.
Yeah, or like go and like beat up John Wick or something like that. I mean, they definitely have that impression. And I mean, like I said, I think this is the most excitement I've had for a 2-on-3 match. The Morris twins versus the Jokic brothers. 2-on-3 handicap match. It's the best handicap match of that nature since WrestleMania 20 when the Rock and Sock connection took on Evolution.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's like the case too. It's like, I feel like the more like they will fight you. Like the Jokic brothers would fight you. Like you're threatening them on Twitter, they will actually go and back that threat up. Unlike some other people, they kind of threat, but it's kind of this all Twitter talk, that type of thing. No, the Jokic brothers would actually fight you. They would actually, they would say, meet me at the parking lot, and they'd be like, done, we're here. Like,
absolutely. And I mean, if you follow it all on Twitter, I mean, it looks like they've already booked their tickets for November 29th when the two teams have their rematch in Miami. So the Jokic brothers are already on their way to Miami.
I'm all in favor of that. Just I mean, good God. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's one of these states. It's just like good. Yeah. Like you don't want to mess with these guys. Like, it's just one of these people. I'm like, maybe you just kind of put the spat off to the side and you try to calm it down as much as possible, because these are guys that will back up everything. It really, they will fight you. They will not back down from a fight. You don't mess with big tough Serbians.
Right. I mean, they grew up in like the midst of the Bosnian Serbian war. Like, I mean, these are some tough guys. Not taking anything away from the Morris twins, but I mean, we saw how bad. Like, they almost had to get the stretcher out there for Markieff when he got hit in the back by Jokic. So I mean, imagine what's gonna happen like when it's actually like face to face fighting,
face to face bare knuckle brawls or something like that. Yeah. and yeah, those guys are. It's weird too because the dad is basically like our height. Yeah, we're right around the same height, and it's just like the dad is like the same height, but yet you have like these 6'5", 6'6", 7 foot gigantic Serbian kids. Like, it's just like, what happened? Was it just like this weird thing from like the Chernobyl thing or something like that? Like, it's one of the weirdest things.
Geographically, I don't know that it's close enough.
I don't know.
Chernobyl,
Yeah, I'm not very good geography wise. Obviously, know that.
Right. I'm fairly solid at it. I don't think it's close enough to Chernobyl, but maybe. But in any event, I mean, they are just, like I said, I definitely would take the Jokic brothers in this fight. And I mean, I love that, you had like the inside the NBA guys like Shaq and Charles Barkley defending Jokic for his retaliation against Morris, who kind of came at him, threw a hip check into his legs, and then turned around like he was acting like he didn't do anything, and then bam.
I know, and Jokic is one of those guys. Yeah, I will fight you. I will fight you back. Like, you hit me, I will hit you back. It's one of those things. I mean, both of them were cheap shots. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Absolutely.
the Jokic thing was a cheap shot as well. I mean, same with the Morris thing. But it was just great too. Like, it's just like, it's great. I don't think LeBron would do that sort of thing. What would LeBron do? That's what I would think. What would LeBron do if he got like a hip check like that?
Once again, though, like Barkley,
he probably would have complained. He probably would have complained about his knee.
He probably would have
like
fallen down immediately and then not gotten up for 3 minutes.
Yeah, he would just been like this and be like, "Oh my god, oh my god." You just sell it.
In any, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you watched that thing, and like I said, Shaq and Charles Barkley immediately defending the Joker for fighting back because once again, it was a cheap shot by Morris, and then he turned his back on him. He's like, "Well, if you don't want to get hit in the back, then you shouldn't have turned around on him. You don't hit somebody and then turn around."
I know, it's always feel like they did nothing wrong and all that, and it's just, yeah.
I try to play the victim.
Yeah, the rematch is going to be amazing. Let's put it that way. The rematch on the 29th of November is going to be amazing.
They're going to need both extra referees for that one.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need some extra referees as far as with that. And then, yeah, it just, maybe Tony Correnti gets on board or something like that.
I don't think you need Tony Correnti. I think you need like Earl Hebner or some like wrestling person for that one. That one's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Get Mike Chioda.
Mike Chioda. Or maybe even go boxing and get Mills Lane for this thing.
Just make it a celebrity deathmatch style, claymation style of thing. There you go. That's what I want. Oh man, yeah. Really, I mean, I would love for just see the Jokic brothers just kind of just staring at the Morris guy just like this all the time. Like they're doing warm ups. They're sitting at the court and they're just going like this.
Yep.
I would just love to see like Marcus Morris's reaction. You're gonna be like, "Holy crap!" Like,
yeah. And Marcus plays for the Clippers, so he's not even gonna be there. It's gonna be like the Jokic brothers are just gonna be sitting there looking Markieff down the hall.
Yeah, they're gonna be like this, Markieff, I want you.
They may not even go to their seats. They may just be sitting outside the locker room, just going. Come on.
I don't know how they got access. How'd they get all access passes on that? They're just doing this.
They stole Michael Porter Jr.'s badge because he's not going to use it.
I like it. Yeah, they just stole one of the badge. Yeah, I would just love that. Just warm up. They're just doing this. Just play to the role. Just doing like this. They look like every tough. Yeah. They look like every tough muscle, like everything. It's just being intimidated, just going like this, like, "Yep, we're here. We want to have fun."
Absolutely, everybody ready to go. They might take out half of that crowd in Miami.
Yeah, they probably could.
Yep.
It's the most we've talked about basketball, and it involved a fight. Like that's the crazy thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Well, if basketball combined more boxing and faction feuds, I'd be more interested in it.
See, I've always felt like that's the problem with basketball now these days, where it's just like the off the court drama just is a lot more entertaining than the on the court product. That's just my thing. Yeah, that's always been my case with them.
Speaking of Markieff Morris, like I didn't realize I just looked him up really quickly. I didn't realize like how many different teams he played for. I know he started his career with Phoenix, and then I feel like I forgot about him for 5 years, and then he was in Washington that whole time. He had a spell with the Thunder for half a season, and then he was with the Pistons and the Lakers, and he just bounced around so much. I didn't realize that he played for 5 teams, 6 teams now with the Heat.
Yeah, that's always been his thing. It's just he bounces around, he wears out his welcome, and then he gets traded.
Pretty
That. That's
much,
always
yeah.
been his thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been traded mid-season every year for the past 3 years.
That's never a good thing if you want to do that. If you want to keep going in life.
He might be battling for the Kenny Lofton.
The Kenny Lofton All-Stars
Award.
I know. It's just it really is just a crazy thing. Yeah. And he really is the definition of a journeyman. And I don't know why I know people just like his energy and all that, but it's just one of those, I'm like, wouldn't people just figure it out by then? It's okay, this guy's been on 6 NBA teams. Why do we need this guy?
Yeah. I didn't realize his brother's kind of bounced around a lot too. He's with the Rockets, then the Suns, and the Pistons, then the Celtics, then the Knicks, where he was actually decent for half a season. But then they trade him to the Clippers. So once again, now he's kind of forgotten about too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they've both been kind of just bounced around the league, and I think that's the reason why I think I kind of hate about basketball. It's just these mediocre players somehow keep getting second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances.
Yeah.
And somehow they're up in different teams or something like that.
Exactly.
Compared to football, it's just okay, if he sucked for 3, 4, 5 years, you wouldn't get another chance.
Right. Exactly.
Or hockey or something like that, or baseball. They would just cut you.
Yeah.
Or somehow you'd be an analytics darling.
Or you do the Tyler Matzik, you go to independent ball for 4 years and then somehow resurface for the World Series.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you have that as well. So yeah, I mean, it's just very, very interesting with that case. And it's just very, very, I just don't understand it, that type of thing.
I don't either. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh, so do you approve of the college football rankings? Just kind of switching back to football. I just kind of thought about the rankings. Are you fine with the college football rankings right now?
No, I'm not okay with that. No.
You're not okay? Even though Cincinnati's up to number 5 now, so that's a good thing.
Well, why are they behind Ohio State? Why are they behind Alabama? They should be number 2. How is that? What Alabama lost to A&M, and Alabama is ranked number 2? Once again, they got the impressive win over Florida. Okay. They probably shouldn't have gotten. They got a decent win, I guess, over Ole Miss. And then they lose to A&M, and once again, it feels like they're just ranked based on past performance. I think that they should be 5 and Cincinnati should be 2. I think they should.
And the same goes for Tennessee. I mean, they really didn't look impressive against Tennessee until the fourth quarter as well. And then this week as well. I mean, they didn't really look impressive as well against LSU. I mean, it's just
right.
I mean, this has really been probably probably not the 19 team was probably the least impressive, but this has definitely not been a really good Alabama team.
I just hope that if Georgia stomps the crap out of them in the SEC championship game, that drops them enough. A 2-loss Alabama team does not get in ahead of Cincinnati or somebody.
No, it does not. Do you approve of the Michigan being ahead of Michigan State, even though those two teams just played literally 2 weeks ago?
No, I know.
Michigan State ended up winning.
Right. I think head-to-head should be the ultimate tiebreaker. So Michigan State needs to be ahead of Michigan. I'm sorry. I don't care about Michigan State's loss to Purdue. If you beat someone, you're ahead of them.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Even though, yes, they did lose to Purdue and they lost pretty handily. I mean, Purdue was really –
They did.
Ahead of that game. They were really doing well throughout most of that game as well. But yeah, I mean, and it goes to show too. Oklahoma's at 8. I mean, really, they've been very unimpressed with Oklahoma this year. So I'm really happy about that.
On Oklahoma so bad
because they really
lost Kansas.
Basically, yeah, they almost lost to Tulane too.
Right, they still win.
But then Cincinnati almost lost to Tulane too. I mean,
right. Tulane's the weird team that somehow gets up for the important games. But
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's also, or Oklahoma, like they had that battle with Texas. They beat the crap out of TCU. They beat the crap out of Texas Tech. I mean, I think if they win, especially this week in Baylor, you got to start putting some respect on them.
Yeah, you do. You have to start putting some respect with that name as well. Hopefully maybe Michigan State, Ohio State, maybe kind of really. I mean, they got to just pray now for some losses now. I mean, they're right there as well. Yeah, but hopefully, I mean, they do have a nice little back end of the schedule against Baylor and against Oklahoma State as well. So that could help them really maybe move up the rankings as well. If they look very, very impressive going up and defeating both Baylor and Oklahoma State. So that would be probably the more impressive thing. And then winning the Big 12 championship too.
Right, absolutely. And also, why isn't Notre Dame getting any respect either? Like their only loss is to Cincinnati. Other than that, they've beaten Wisconsin by almost 30. They beat Purdue. Michigan State couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's a weird team. Like they're a lot like Oklahoma. Like they're really not getting a lot of respect so far. I think it's just like they've just been burned for so many years by them by putting them in, and then they literally get the crap kicked out of them by Georgia or Alabama. So I think they've just been burned by them for so many years. Past history has hurt them.
But once again, I'm not impressed with this Ohio State team.
Well, they barely beat Nebraska.
What's that?
They barely beat Nebraska. Yeah, Same with Michigan. Michigan barely beat Nebraska, too.
Michigan barely beat Nebraska. But again, this team is not impressive. I hope Purdue kicks the crap out of them this week.
That would be wonderful. I would love Purdue to just end Ohio State's national or playoff dreams, really.
Because they shouldn't have them in the first place. But, I mean, what we thought was kind of an easy schedule for Ohio State. It ends up being kind of a murderer's row here at the end with Purdue, Michigan State, and Michigan in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for them going through the rest of the year. I mean, and that could maybe just kind of vault them if they somehow come away unscathed and win all 3 games and then win the Big Ten championship. Really, I mean, that could be their resume too. They could be like a number 2 or a number 3.
But aside from like I said, and I've said it before, aside from Oregon, they've just been beating up on cream puffs this whole time.
You're right. Yeah, they have been beating up on cream puffs, and yeah, I mean, it's going to go down to the head. They can't afford to lose, though. Like that's the problem. They can't afford to lose.
No, they can't, and I hope they do. All 3 of them, just to prove my point that they were overrated from the get.
Yeah, just to prove that point as well. And yeah, I just hope Cincinnati gets in. If they win out and they go undefeated, just put them in. Give them a chance and put them in.
Right. What's the worst that happens? They get killed like Notre Dame has, like Ohio State has. I mean, I don't give me what I want.
Yeah, just give me that. Just let us put in Cincinnati. We've been on this Cincinnati train for 2 years now. I mean, it's not like we become Cincinnati fans for like 2 weeks. Like, no, we've been on this Cincinnati team for 2 years now.
But once again, like I made this point last week, what's the point of any of these non-Power 5 conference schools staying FBS if they're never going to get a shot at the championship? And you look at it, like Cincinnati's been undefeated in the regular season for 2 years now.
You're right. Yeah, they've been here for 2 years, and it's just, and they've been really well, and they played Georgia really well last year. I mean, it wasn't like they got killed by Georgia. I mean, they kind of, they were in, yeah. But it's just they really did. They played them tough for most of that game. So we'll have to see with that. And yeah, they really just not getting any respect. Let's put it that way.
No. Like I said, it's very weird how this committee is picking teams. Because like I said, I wouldn't even have Ohio State in the top 10. I'd have Ohio State below Oklahoma State. If we're being honest.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, and Oklahoma State. I mean, really. I mean, they kind of have like a back end type of schedule, and if they kind of win and maybe beat Oklahoma, maybe they kind of rise up and maybe get to the Big 10 or Big 12 championship game, and end up probably beating Oklahoma again for the Big 12 championship. Right. Beating Oklahoma twice in like 3 weeks. I mean, that could help maybe vault them as well.
I mean, they beat Baylor, who's ranked. They beat Texas. Their one loss came on the road to a good Iowa State team versus Ohio State loss. Yeah, it was to a very good Oregon team. But Oklahoma State's wins are way more impressive than Ohio State's. And Ohio State's one loss was to Oregon, but it was at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be the factor in as well. I mean, it's just
Like
and Oklahoma State went to Boise State too and won in Boise State early. I mean, even though yes, it's been a down year for Boise State. I mean, they won in Boise State, which is really a hard thing to do.
It's not easy to do that at all.
No, it's not.
And now, I mean, even going back to Alabama, Alabama's win over Florida looks way less impressive now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
They lost to South Carolina by 23 last week.
That was weird. That was a weird, like, I don't know what's the matter with Florida. I think it's just they had probably national title hopes. And now that they don't really have the national title hope anymore, that really, I mean, they've just kind of fallen off the map really early in the season. I mean, that Alabama game really just put a hamper to that season. I mean, what would have happened if they actually did beat Alabama? I mean, I think it probably would have been a different Florida team. I don't think they lose to Kentucky. I don't think they probably lose to Georgia. So, okay. I don't think they lose to South Carolina by 23.
Right.
You could probably look back and you could probably look back and say, man, that Alabama game really was kind of the turning point of that whole Florida season.
Right. Remember like 3 weeks ago when Kentucky was undefeated too?
Ooh, I remember.
I remember.
Boy, they've really fallen off the map.
Boy, have they ever.
Yeah, they're not even ranked. Wow.
No, they've lost 3 in a row. They've kind of done a Florida nosedive.
Yeah, they've really hit. Yeah, they hit that buzzsaw that was Georgia, and yeah, I mean, does Georgia play any significant games on the road? I mean, really, they've really lucked out schedule wise this year. Where it's just like seems like all their important games have been at home so far.
From what I've watched of this Georgia team, I don't think it matters where they play. They can play.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, they beat Clemson, but you're looking back at it now. That Clemson game, really, it's like that type of game.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time, Clemson was a playoff team, like the year before. Like Georgia went into that game as the underdog.
Right.
And since then, they haven't played a close game since.
Well, that game was 9-3.
Yeah, 9-3. But since then, they haven't won by less than 20 points. Oh yeah, I guess they beat Kentucky by 17, but it felt like they were up on them by more than that.
Yeah, they were up. They were up mostly.
Did you watch them play Mizzou on Saturday?
Not really. I watched some.
I watched it for a little bit.
Hey, Mizzou was in it for 5 minutes. Okay, you got to give them credit for that. They were in it for 5 minutes.
They took it down the field and got a field goal. That was
it. So they pulled a Pat Shermer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they played good for 5 to 8 minutes, and that was it.
Well,
so,
I mean, I think they won the opening kickoff, and then were able to take it down and get points, so they were up for like a second.
Yeah, again, yeah, they were good for 5 minutes, but then Georgia dominated for the. Yeah, then Georgia dominated for the next 55 minutes.
Georgia got the ball,
and that was it.
Good until Georgia got the ball.
Yeah, they were good. They were good until Georgia got ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting rankings right now. I mean, it's just looking at it too. We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays off. Mine would be Georgia 1.
Yeah, obviously.
Georgia 1, Oregon 2. I think Oregon's been like, even though like the score, like I still would have Oregon 2, Cincinnati 3, and then probably still Michigan State 4. Like Michigan State is still a good team, even though yes they lost to Purdue, which has just been like they've been like the death knell, for some of these teams the past few years. Like Purdue is just like a really weird team. Like they get up for, you're right. Like we talked about it before. They get up for like these weird games.
Yeah, they do.
They're like the Tulane, even though yes, they have a good record this year. They're like the Tulane of the Big Ten, where it's just like they get up for these huge games.
See, I would go Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and then Oregon, I think 4.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I think Oklahoma would have been like my 5th team over Ohio State.
Yeah, I think I have Oregon 4, and then I have Alabama 5 or Alabama 5, Notre Dame 6.
Oh yeah, I can't really. I mean, Alabama. That's always been my thing. They lost to a backup quarterback whose name sounds like a terrible Pizza Hut promotion. I'm going to beat this joke to the ground. Really, I mean, the committee should really take care of that as well. They'd be like, oh, they lost.
But that's the thing; it's so inconsistent.
It is. Really, they're just hoping. Georgia, Alabama, like one of those teams lose.
Well,
That's what they're really just hoping for right now.
I mean, like I said, I hope Alabama loses one, or like I said, or that Georgia just trounces them in the SEC title game.
Well, it could happen. I mean, it could happen. Like Alabama could lose one of these next few weeks, and they could lose to Auburn.
They could.
They could lose to Auburn. I mean, it's just, and if they lose to Auburn, that's bye-bye playoffs for them, really, unless a bunch of crazy stuff happens.
Right. That would, like I said, it feels like it's basically the same 4 teams every year, and it's getting kind of boring. That's why, like, I want a 32 team playoff.
I know, yeah. You're having the one wild card team, as Cincinnati with that, but yeah, other than that, yeah, it just feels like it's the same 3-4 teams. No Clemson this year, which is odd. Yeah, but you're still having
Ohio
Georgia,
State,
Alabama.
Oregon has gotten it before. Like Michigan hasn't even been in a playoff game ever.
No, they have not. No, they haven't. And I don't think Oregon's been in it since the first year.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been in it since the first year of the playoffs. So we'll have to see with that. And yeah, it's always Georgia, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and yeah, always a wild card team.
Right. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a very, very bad. Yeah, I agree with you. They need to expand. They need to expand it now.
I don't like this system.
It's been ripened for an expansion, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Right. Like, once again, I say this every time, and I'll keep saying it. There is never any debate about who is the NCAA March Madness champion. It never happens. So expand the playoff and make it so that there's no debate.
Oh yeah, expand it, make that happen. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm ready for the expansion. Give me the 16 teams. I think a 16-team playoff would be very, very good. It really would.
Yeah.
But they got to think about the children.
Been in it every year except 1920. Like, why is So
they've been in the playoffs every year except for one, and that was in 2019.
Ohio State's been in like 5 times. Like it's boring. Give me something new.
Yeah, sooner or later it starts to get boring. I agree. Sooner or later it starts to get boring, and now you're bored. Like I am. I'm kind of bored. I just really the only thing I care about is whether Cincinnati gets in or not.
Right.
Other than that, I don't care.
And if not, I'm probably not going to watch it.
I'll still watch it
because
I'm crazy like that.
Here's what I want. Give me my 32 team playoff and make all 11 players eligible on the field.
There you go.
Tied it all together.
That's right. Yes. As far as with that, and it's just okay. Here we go. I'm gonna go kind of off the rails here.
Do it.
All right. So it's just I've been watching. So obviously watching TV and all that. We're getting a lot of these weird commercials with the Caesar Sportsbook and the Amazon ads in which like we have Cleopatra and Rapunzel and stuff. Having these modern technology type of things. Like, when did this happen? Where it's just like, where it's just like Caesar, where Caesar has an app, it's like where we have these app with these cell phones and he has all these microphones, in roaming times, that type of thing.
Sense. That one at least makes sense. Like the Cleopatra thing doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And it's one of the things too. It's like she has like an iPad too, and like how do you get service in the desert? Like let's just assume
Right,
she gets
exactly.
4G or something like that. She has one of the 4G service iPads. How does she get
Ordered a
that in the desert?
hotspot from Amazon.
Also, she discovers this wonderful thing as Amazon. I mean, wouldn't she be like the one that probably discovered Amazon first or something like that? Or
Right,
was like, I was
absolutely.
on the Amazon trade for a while.
I mean, once again, I mean the Caesar thing like makes sense. But with the Amazon thing, if you're gonna have Amazons do it, then you should have like Wonder Woman or like Hippolyta or some sort of like Amazon promoting Amazon as opposed to Cleopatra.
No, the Wonder Woman's strictly for DirecTV, man. Come on.
Yeah,
With the Serena Williams and Wonder Woman. As far as
but
with that.
but I
But
mean,
yeah,
like that
but the
doesn't make
same,
sense. And also, like, I mean, she's bald. Like, why is Cleopatra bald? Like, she should have like that Egyptian hairdo. It
yeah.
wouldn't make
And
it look
same
accurate.
goes for like the Rapunzel thing. She's like, she never thought about ordering the ladder from Amazon until that day. Like, when did
Right,
she get a cell phone? Like,
right,
is there power for the cell phone?
right. Yeah. Who? How did she charge it in the tower?
Yeah, how's she charge it in the tower? You know, it's like, can you get cell service in that tower too?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, how did she charge it? What service provider is she with? Did a Verizon rep come up to her like window and just get her to sign the deal?
Yeah, here's the deal, or something like that, or AT or Lily from AT&T. Wow,
Yeah.
you got it. Wow, I'm gonna tie it from your hair. I'm gonna tie the
That'd
phone
be-
contract from your hair. It's just one of those things. It's just like it's really weird. Like it's just we're having like these folklore or these these people from the Romans and
Fairy
Egyptian
tales.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, from like these different times, and it's just how Amazon is using it for a different service.
Which, like I said, the Caesars one makes sense because it's Caesar promoting the Caesars sports book.
Okay,
That makes sense.
yeah,
I'll give him that one. That makes
yeah.
sense.
No, they just had to add a Carl,
Yeah, they had a Carl, but
a Carl from Waukegan.
yeah,
It's like this still like the weirdest thing. Like it's just like why do you have
right.
this random dude?
Well, you had to have someone to make fun of. So
Yeah, yeah, for somebody except Carl.
yeah.
I feel like too gambling commercials have really outworn their welcome. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, it's such a big industry. It's like, hey, I'm this random girl. Join DraftKings. Here's your offer for the week. Bet on the Buccaneers to score a touchdown and
You
you
win
win
600. Yeah,
$100. Yeah.
yeah. Bet $10 to win 100. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like they've kind of really just outplayed their welcome, but it's just like I feel like
Oh,
anybody who is gambling right now is, let's put it that way. I don't
right.
feel like you're winning any more new customers now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe,
Unless
yeah,
you're creating like
or you
a
get
like,
you're getting those gullible like 21-year-olds who are just figuring out like, oh, I can gamble now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me put money on the Broncos to score a touchdown.
I mean, new people turn 21 every week.
That is true. Yeah, they're probably just getting the global people, but I just feel like people like our age. I feel like they're just outworn their welcome, and it's just like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
if I'm gambling, I'm already gambling, that type of
Right.
thing. If I'm already gambling on sports, I'm already doing it.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. I guess it's for the gullible like 21-year-olds.
Yep.
I wonder what other people are they going to get? Can they get what other former people they had? They had like Orlando Pace, James Harrison, Martin Gramatica. What
Oh
else can
yeah.
they get? What else
Orlando
can they get?
Pace. Who was the other one? You said Martin Gramatica. Who was the third?
Yeah, James Harrison.
Oh, James Harrison. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have that. Who are they gonna have next?
Let's see. So it'd be someone from like those big in the early 2000s.
I'm surprised they haven't like gotten like Mike Allstott or something like that. They kind of barrel in or something
Oh,
like that.
that'd be good. Mike Allstott.
Yeah, have like Mike Allstott. Like here, bet on this, and he
Yep.
kind of barrels through.
Or the Teddy Bruschi fumble Ruski. If any team fumbles, you win $100.
I like that. Yeah, from DraftKings Sportsbook, the Teddy Bruschi Fumble Bruschi.
See,
Or
maybe I'll send this to DraftKings as my audition for their marketing person.
yeah.
Teddy Bruschi, Fumble Ruski.
No, this is what the Rock needs to do too. He needs to have his rock lock of the week. Okay, his rock lock of the week. I have Cincinnati, -3 over the Destroyers or something like that.
Yeah.
Another thing for the XFL, yeah, let's just have the betting. I want the rock lock of the week. What is the Rock taking? Is he taking the Destroyers or the Crusaders?
On, yeah.
Is he taking the Wildcats or the Wildcats?
The Rough Riders or the Rough Riders?
Yeah, that's what I want. Give me the Rough Riders. Which team? The Rough Riders.
Give me the Rough Riders.
Who thought of that? That was a good idea. Really. I mean, it's just that's how Canadians are weird, I guess. It's just like, yeah, that's like one team that's like, okay, we're called the Broncos. You know what? Let's call ourselves the Broncos or something like that.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can talk shit until the Washington football team changes its name to an actual team name. Because like I was looking up like Javonte Williams stats, and it was like, okay, good score, or like every team listed, it's Cowboys and then football team. His effort against the football team.
His effort against the football team. Yeah,
it looks really stupid on the stats. Stupid.
You know what? Just get it done with. Just call yourselves the Redskins again. Why not?
I'd rather them be called the Redskins.
Just flip it. Just flip it. Just flip it now. Turn
I'd rather
heel,
them be
Daniel
called
Snyder.
that than nothing. Like, I'm all for changing it, but if you're gonna change it, at least change it to something.
Yeah,
At
instead of
least
just
Cleveland
kind of
changed it to the Guardians. It's not cool, but it's a something.
and they're getting sued by a roller derby team. So
Right, exactly.
over the name. Yeah, that's what I want.
I'd rather them be called the Washington Roller Girls.
They do play like roller girls.
They do.
No, they're the Washington Bluets. Okay, a nice little nice little combination of the old Washington Bullets with the NBA team, including with their old kicker now, Chris Blewett.
Oh man.
Is there any other good names? So you have Chris Blewett for a kicker, and obviously Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh's quarterback is Kenny Pickett. Are those just the two worst names ever?
It gotta be.
It's got to be. Those got to be the two worst last names ever for like a position.
Right. You might as well just call him Chris Wide Right.
Yeah, or it's just like Chris Shanky. Yeah, he just shanks it. Yeah, that's like a punter being called Chris Shanky or something like that.
Exactly. Take you back there to punt.
Oh man, but it would be great too. Yeah, if an offensive lineman was called Pancake or something like that. Yeah, Pancake with the pancake there.
But I mean, at least that's a positive thing from his position.
Oh yeah, rather than like a Passover or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be like them calling him Jerry Holding.
Jerry Holding there. Jerry Holding there.
Holding on holding.
Holding on holding. or have a wide receiver with the last name Stone or something like that. Oh, he's got hands of stone right there.
Yep. Or Joey Drop It or something.
Joey Drop It. Or how about Louise Miss It? You got to have that.
Exactly. Yeah, that might as well have been his name. So
yeah, Louise Miss It. That's a good one for like a soccer player or something like that. It's the premier. Yeah, it's the World Cup. He's up, and here comes Luis Missit out of Mexico. Oh, he misses it. Oh. All right.
It'd be like having a golfer named Short because he always leaves his putt short or something like that.
Here's Short putting for par. Oh, it goes short.
Or
that is rough for
or
Short.
Jake Bogey.
Jake Bogey. Or you know what? Let's just go back. You know what I said earlier, Joey Shanky. You know,
Really shaky, yeah.
Joey
It works
Shanky.
for so many sports.
It does. It works for so many sports. Works for soccer. Works for golf. Works for football.
You got to look at the opposite being true, though. I mean,
Or have a pitcher named Diener. You know, Diener, or have a pitcher named Diener. Like, okay, here's Travis Diener here up to the mound, giving up Dieners.
or Joey Plunkett.
I like that. Yeah, Jim Plunkett should have been a baseball pitcher. Yeah, I think it would have been a great move for him.
Willie Goner. Oh, here's a pitch from Goner, and there goes.
Oh, and it's gone. That's Goddard's.
Oh man, that was good. How awesome though was it a few years ago when they had like Josh Outman or whatever his name was as a pitcher?
Oh yeah,
That was like the best name.
yeah, it would have been a great name. Yeah, Josh Outman.
He was a real pitcher. There was.
Oh yeah, he was. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, Josh Outman.
Josh
You
Outman.
gotta draft that guy. He's gonna get some outs, man.
He's gonna get some outs, man. That's Outman with the outs.
I think he was with the Rockies for a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. I think he did. I think he had a cup of coffee with the Rockies.
He had a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
His baseball reference picture has him in a Rockies uniform. I guess he was with the A's, then he was with the Rockies, then he was with the Indians, and then he was with the Yankees.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Why did he quit pitching? I don't know. Anyway, that was the
All
best
right.
name for anyone, but I mean, it was a fun episode. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
I'm good, man.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Follow along with us on Twitter, and check us out on Spotify, and go back and watch all of our other episodes. Thank you for watching this one, and have a great night.
All right. Thank you. Peace.